Welcome back to the GrandSolarMinimum channel. Today is Monday, November 18th, 2019. Thank you for tuning in to the evening edition of our program. Let's get started with some space weather. Our solar wind speeds are sitting at a 360.1 kilometers per second with a density of 2.7. And once again, we are looking at our sun, and there are no sunspots to report today. That is a bright active region, but it does not qualify as a sunspot. That's now 5 days in a row without sunspots, and we are now 241 for the year. That is 20 more than what we had, 20 more spotless days, that is, that we had in 2018. Our TCI coming in at 3.69, and our KP indice is coming in at a 0 right now with a 24-hour max of a 1. And I want to read to you guys real quick. I get this question a lot, and at first sometimes I thought it was a joke, but the more I see the question, I realize there are people out there actually not kidding. They want to know what this means. So the KP index, pardon me, is the global geomagnetic activity index that is based on a 3-hour measurements from ground-based magnetometers around the world. Each station is calibrated according to its latitude and reports a certain K indice depending on the geomagnetic activity measured at the location of the magnetometer. Yeah, magnetometer. The K index itself is a 3-hour long quasi-logarithmic local index of the geomagnetic activity at the given location in time compared to a calm day curve. A magnetometer measures the maximum deviation of the horizontal component of the magnetic field at its location and reports this. The global KP index is then determined with an algorithm that puts the reported K values of every station together. KP index ranges from 0 to 9, where values of 0 means that there's very little geomagnetic activity, and a value of 9 means extreme geomagnetic storming. Now, we measure G1 geomagnetic storms on the G1, the G2, the G3 level. And where do you have to be at to get at a geomagnetic storm as far as what do the KP indices have to be? And Mari did an awesome piece on this. She has a video. I'll have to find it in our archives here. But right up here at the bottom of this is geomagnetic activity. This is our KP index. And once you see it hit the 5 region, which is right here, that is now a G1 geomagnetic storm. All right, so the first levels of 1 through 4 of the KP indice is geomagnetic activity, and this is rather minor. A 4 is moderate, but still rather minor. Once we hit 5, that's a G1. The 6 KP would indicate a G2. The 7 KP would indicate a G3. A KP of 8 would be a G4, and the most extreme, which would be a KP of 9. And that would put us at a G5 geomagnetic storm, which would be pretty severe. That's when you're probably experiencing worldwide global grid failure. G4s, G5s would definitely be capable of doing some serious damage to our infrastructure. But again, I get a lot of questions, and I wish I could answer them quicker than I can. But a lot of times I kind of wait and see if this is just a question that's maybe a once in a while thing. But when you see it kind of happening over and over and over again, you want to kind of give a little bit of a breakdown of what the KP is. And also I recommend going over to SPACEWEATHERlive.com, and they give a really great explanation, a little bit more in depth as well about KP. So basically the KP is the amount of geomagnetic activity in the atmosphere. And right now we're sitting at a 0, which means we have 0 geomagnetic activity. The 24-hour max is at a 1, so very, very low levels right now. And with the SDO, we are looking at a solar wind stream possible on November 21st, 2019. Let's go over to the GrandSolarMinimum.com on our space weather section. And I'll go ahead and put this SDO in motion. We already see the Well, if it will go in motion. We've had some issues with SDO lately. Thankfully, I'm still able to get still images, but not a lot of motion. Now, this one right here, this gives us a look at our star from behind. The 0 is dead center, Earth facing, and then when you get to the negative 90, that's your eastern limb. And right now, looking at the sun as a whole, and right below it is the chart. The black space that you guys see, this is stereo B. And it is no longer reporting information. So right here is where we don't know. But right here is Earth facing. This is the eastern limb. And this is just around that area from where stereo B does not report. So we still get about 70% of our star. We still get that report. However, this will always be a mystery until they figure out how to fix that. But right here is us right now. This is current real time, Earth facing, and this is where my blue arrow is. And this is what's coming. Not a lot going on. Maybe a minor coronal hole in the southern hemisphere. Some little tiny bright activities, but nothing sunspots as we are in solar minimum conditions and have been for quite some time. In fact, this year, right now, we're already seeing more spotless days than we have in the past minimum. And see if I can get that to go in motion. I'd really like to show it. No, there we go. It's working now. So that's what our coronal hole, just above the northern area. Now, usually with the KP indice at 0 and Earth-facing coronal holes with a 24-hour max of 1 is a ripe scenario for seismic activity, volcanic or earthquake. So we'll have to keep our eyes and ears open, as you all know, when situations like this where the solar winds are low and the coronal hole is Earth-facing with KP of 0, a max of 1. I always like to say somewhere between 6.5 and up, but I'm going to shrink that window now and say between 6.0 and 6.5 on this particular situation. So we'll have to wait and see here in the next 24 to 72 hours. And usually these strike, if I'm correct with what we're looking at now, these usually strike within 24 to 36 hours after I actually make the call. So keep our eyes on that. I know there's a lot of other channels out there that do a really good job with the earthquakes, and I'm not trying to claim I'm an expert. I'm just saying if you do this long enough, I think people can begin to familiarize when the next earthquake is going to hit. The thing I'm working on now is trying to understand where that location earthquake is going to be when they do hit. All right, so let's take a look at some of the headlines we have today. And thank you, Mari, for setting up this lovely website that we have here at thegrandsolarminimum.com. Remember, you got to type in that "the" part, folks. If you go to grandsolarminimum.com, that's, I don't know who that is, but it's thegrandsolarminimum.com. Check out what we have here for you. This is a list of all the articles that we're going to go over tonight. And of course, we have, oh, look at that, some more savings on the, and Mari actually put together a schedule for shipping. So you guys know exactly when you will get your packages that you order. All right, so let's check out our first article. Food prices set to rise in the UK as floods ruin crops, planting delayed. You don't say. The price of crisps and chips are expected to rise in the new year as flooding in northern England hits the supply of winter vegetables such as potatoes, cauliflower, and cabbages. Official data released on Friday revealed a great deal of uncertainty around the fate of a tenth of the country's potato crop, as farmers count the cost of the deluge that has overwhelmed parts of South Yorkshire, Lincolnshire, and the Midlands. There are increasing reports of crops being abandoned or farmers halting lifting but remaining hopeful that they may be able to salvage something in the spring. Again, I learned this talking to Jesse on our call-in show a few weeks back. And you can harvest corn in the winter, late, early spring before you plant, but it's doable, but your yield is definitely a lot lower. It says here that the Agriculture and Horticultural Development Board, in their weekly update, with some potatoes rotting in standing water, the report adds, there remains a great deal of uncertainty over the fate of the crop area yet to be lifted. An estimated 2 to 3% of the area is expected to have completely been written off. Wow. Linkshire is also behind 60% of its domestic brassica crop, which runs to cauliflowers and cabbages at this time of the year. The British Growers Association said sodden ground was making it difficult to get produce out of the fields, with cauliflowers hit the hardest, repeating a situation seen over the summer. So, and those of you who will be tuning in the morning to watch this, as it's probably night time for most of you in the UK, I've been trying to include UK weather updates, and we've talked a lot about flooding, so this is no surprise. And now we start to see the harsh reality. Now, they always said, a lot of you are thinking, well, gee, it's only a tenth of the crop, but that's a lot. And we're not done yet as far as conditions that could be hateful for harvesting out there. And I wanted to talk about Venice. Third record tide hits Venice as Italy faces heavy rain, snow, and strong winds. Interesting enough, I was able to talk to somebody about this particular situation, and they're a professional, a highly decorated professional, and we were talking about climate change, and she had asked me, what about the floods in Venice, and what about the flooding here, and then the tornadoes, and I told her, I said, listen, I don't deny that we are going through a climate change. The only thing that we want to talk about with climate change is that it's natural, and the sun cycles are causing this. And I told her, you can correlate this this science that we speak of with these solar cycles. And I want to give you a really strong correlation here, guys. The last time that Venice saw floods like this was in 1966. Now, let's do some math. If you're talking about the blizzard, the bad winters of 77, 78, 79, that was in a minimum period, guys. All right, so take away 11 years, and 66 lines up again with a possible solar minimum that was happening during the last time that Venice had seen floods like this. And it was easy for me to translate and correlate this with this person. After hearing that side, their eyebrows kind of shook up a little bit. I'm like, okay, that's interesting, seeing that you're able to correlate solar activity with events like this. So let's read on real quick. A third exceptional tide hit Venice, Italy on Sunday, November 17th, 2019, during the same week where other parts of the country suffered from a series of extreme weather events. From heavy rain and snow, strong winds, and swollen rivers to out-of-season avalanches. More stores, museums, establishments were closed in the worst affected areas of Venice around St. Mark's Square. Still, tourists found ways to visit these sites by donning high rubber boots or even hip waders. Look at this. Are you kidding? I mean, geez Louise, these people are shopping, it's just a little water. Why not, right? I mean, to me, I would be closing these areas off. Nobody should be out in this right now.
She needed her Louis Vuitton.
This is a severe hazard, if you ask me. Wow. Officials have closed the historic square as winds sweep across the rising waters. The doors of Basilia were securely shut to the public as well. Authorities stacked sandbags and canal-side windows to prevent salt-laden water from getting into the crypt. I also saw a video report about this, and right now we're dealing with these areas that aren't receding. That's it. The damage is going to be irreversible in some cases. So yeah, just waiting to see when these waters are going to start receding. But some outstanding pictures here. But look, I mean, bright sunny day, no cloud in the sky. We got floodwaters. Our infrastructures are not able to handle this cosmic ray influx. I'm telling you. She also, once I told her about cosmic ray influxes happening all over the world, and quickly she picked up on what it meant to have cosmic rays in the atmosphere with particles. And she asked me, is that why we see so much rain in 24 hours period of time? I said, yeah, absolutely. these rain bombs. Our atmosphere is rich with cosmic rays, which is the fuel to breed such large precipitations. And these cosmic ray increases have been correlated to happen during solar minimums, when the magnetospheres and the magnetic field is weak. It allows a lot more space particles, highly charged particles. And just to explain to her what a normal water vapor drop and a particle combined in the atmosphere, imagine cosmic rays being a magnet element for these droplets. And that's why you see such large raindrops and huge amounts of precipitation. These cosmic rays, highly charged particles, are absorbing or drawing in more vapor, more water vapor that is in the atmosphere, and it is translating it in precipitation. So when I spoke to her that way, she actually seemed a little more curious, and what I was trying to relay to her was logic. And this person being a very professional person in her field, very intelligent on her side of things, the one thing that I didn't do was insult AGW, insult Al Gore, which he deserves it, but I didn't do it. I stuck to the facts and gave a quick little example of correlation with historic records, empirical data, the source where to look at this. Of course, naturally the grand solar minimum. You can look at everything that you want to figure out as far as flooding and measuring cosmic rays and everything else. We monitor it all on our website. We have the links embedded in our website to help you find these. But the science, when it's presented without insult or making someone feel stupid because they think otherwise, is a lot more convincing to the person who doesn't quite understand why we are going against the grain. And when you put it to them and just stick with the facts and don't use the insults and screaming and yelling and cussing, well, guess what? And this person actually was willing to listen to more and was interested now in the topic as a whole. Mari, I hate to go off topic, but you've been busy. You found 2 sets of earbuds for me, so I really appreciate that. It really caught my attention. I've been scrambling for earbuds in this house for months. I thought the dogs chewed everything up we ever had, but thankfully you successfully located 2 sets.
Silly.
Everybody's like, come on, get back to the headlines. Sorry about that, folks. Right. All right. Heavy snow in the Alps causes avalanches and travel disruptions. This was Monday, November 18th, 2019. Like that. Schools and roads were closed on Monday in parts of Austria as heavy snow and rain caused disruption across the Alpine region. 2 women were rescued by firefighters after their houses were destroyed in the mudslide. Schools and roads were closed Monday in parts of Austria as heavy snow and rain caused disruption. 2 women had to, again, November 18th. I mean, look at this image. This looks like a January, February blizzard. Look at how heavy this snow is, guys. The way it's sticking to these branches. And it's November. So remember, we were told no more snow. Our kids won't know what it will be to see a snow like this. Little, just like we saw in Montana in late September. Now the pictures are starting to come in from all over the world. Here we are. This is Austria, near Germany. All right, the Alps also with avalanches, lots of snowfall. Tyrol, Italy, once again in the news again. And David Birch, the star man, actually showed me footage of this earlier. But here we are, and Tyrol has been in the news for heavy snows like this. Now, this is the second straight winter we've seen scenes like this before winter actually kicks in. I mean, what is that, about 4 feet on the rooftop alone? Good grief. So, lots of snow, and we'll show more proof of that as well. So, not only are we talking about snow in Austria, the Alps, and Italy with floods, now we divert our attention to a foot of snow blankets Tehran. Now, I want to I did exactly what Mari did not want me to do, so I'll do that. Okay, so earlier this morning...
How dare you?
Right. I reported on 19 inches of snow.
How dare you?
In Iran. And there was a commenter who actually was not nice about it, but still called it out. And I appreciate that because it was confusing when I was looking. Someone had told me over the weekend that there was a lot of snow in Iran. And I'm like, wow, I gotta check this out. And I did find the actual story that I meant to click on that brought a foot of snow, not 19 inches, but still interesting that the amount of snow that fell in January of 2018 on the 28th was 19 inches. And here we are in November with a foot of snow fallen. So that January storm that's coming is not gonna, you better watch out. Heavy snowfalls caught residents of the Iranian capital Tehran off guard, bringing the city to a standstill and closing schools in the northern districts of the metropolis. It all began with tiny hailstones hitting the northern part of Tehran during Saturday morning rush hour, but it soon grew into a full-force snowfall and blanketed the streets. As we said, about 30 centimeters had fallen, and just lots of pictures here of what happened in Tehran during this. Also, forecasters have predicted the ground frost and a sharp drop in temperature for the coming days as well. So this stuff will stick around. But isn't it amazing that we're talking about Iran? Snow in November? A foot? Widespread disruption of heavy snow, floods, and mudslides kill one person, injure two in Austria. Whoops, I apologize, folks. That might have been me there. Early cold season. Oh, snowfall hit Morocco. Okay. I'll take a flyer. Looks like a lot of snow to me. Residents woke up to the snow-covered surroundings in Morocco on November 16th as heavy snowfall came in earlier than usual. The country's weather office issued an announcement regarding a cold wave in several cities. Why am I showing you guys all this snow? I want to show you the pictures, too, of how much has fallen. In November, in Morocco, in Iran, areas that really aren't used to snow like this early. If we're talking about climate change and the increased amount of precipitation, there's your increased precipitation. But then you have to ask yourself, those of you who follow the AGW theory, why is it snowing? Isn't global warming supposed to keep the falls warmer and the winters mild and short? But yet 2 years in a row, and really noticeable these last 2 years, we're seeing snowfalls that are, worth mentioning and happening well earlier than usual. This kind of snow does happen in Morocco, but not until January. So how many times have we talked about areas hitting snow in winter 2 months early? Just like we said here on the GrandSolarMinimum channel back in May, when Australia was experiencing 2 months early of cold winter weather. Snow. Records were being broke down there. So what was happening there is happening here, just like we've been told, and it's happening. Always watch what's going on in Australia. There's spring right now. Woo! Let me tell you why I'm doing the Ric Flair woo. Huge hailstones batter Queensland, causing significant damage to cars and homes in Australia. This was in Queensland, by the way. So Austria and Australia made the headlines tonight. It's awesome. Hailstones up to 2.4 inches in diameter hit north of Brisbane as dangerous thunderstorms moved across the southeast Queensland on November 17th, causing severe damage to cars and homes. The hail came shortly after an emergency warning was issued for brush fires north of Toowoomba and prompting residents to evacuate. Look at this. Severe hail. 23,000 homes across the area were damaged and left without power. Cars with windshields busted out. Let's see if I can find you a couple. Look at the size of these hailstones. My God. One is the size of a baseball. The other one is the size of a small tomato, which you can make several sandwiches with. Look at that. This is their religious windshield, as it is holy. But no, really, that's serious damage, folks. The body damage on that car. This car is a total loss, by the way. You take hailstones like that, there's no fixing. You can fix the glass, but you're not getting these dents out. The car's totaled. And that's what we're going to be looking forward to this coming spring. I think we'll see more hail like this spring. I hope I'm wrong. But it's not the case so far in the southern hemisphere. Just looking at areas that had hail damage. I know there's a lot of insurance people right now who are probably super busy. Look at this. Let's check this out real quick. This should be safe to play. Look at that. Wow. 9 News. Thank you, 9 News. That's crazy. Goodness gracious. This is the monster storm that just dumped all that hail on the Sunshine Coast. Look at that. Unreal. And here we go. Just landed in Brisbane for the first time in years, and this is what this guy was greeted with. He's in the airport. Lots of hail, lots of thunder, lightning, winds 35 miles per hour, gusting. Pretty serious storm there, folks. And this is part of the grand solar minimum that we were told about. Increased hail, increased lightning. Why are we seeing increased hail? Well, that's easy. The atmosphere is a lot cooler now than it was 4 years ago. Why are we seeing more lightning? Well, that also has to do with highly charged particles in abundance in our atmosphere. So that is also keeping our skies highly charged as well. So cosmic rays are causing large amounts of precipitation. It's causing these larger lightning events. It is helping in producing this massive hailstones. And cosmic rays are a bigger part of the picture than we ever thought before. And there's tons of research that's out there, folks. I encourage you to go out there and do your research and find all the information on cosmic rays that's peer-reviewed and dig in. Take some time too, because there's a lot to digest on how this all works. Cloud nucleation. So good stuff though. Speaking of good stuff, there is our friend David Birch, the UK, showing us pictures here from Tyrol, Italy. And he also took the time to make this chart. And when you guys get to this, our website at thegrandsolarminimum.com, he put this chart together. Northern Hemisphere's snow extent cover to week 44 is the highest since 1999. And I know it's really hard to see this, so I'm going to do my best here to reveal which line we are watching. It is this blue line right here, my tip of the arrow. So if you look at years past, we are already, look at that. And we've got data from 15, 16, 17, and 18 on here. And we are already above, at this point, the snow cover for this time of year is doing better than it has in quite some time. So all these people out there talking about glaciers melting and polar bears starving and how our kids won't see snow anymore. Well, what is this? Why is this blue line indicating that we are at the highest snow cover extent in week 44 of the year since 1999? Oh yeah, I know. You're going to hate hearing this, but that was also correlated with during a minimum period time as well. I know. Here we go again with those correlations. So really, guys, you can do the work yourself. You can look all this up. This is all verifiable. But there we are, that blue line, and we are on top of these other years, 15, 16, 17. Look how close they are together here. That blue line is clearly on top and dominating. So you guys might remember the other day when a certain individual who goes to college who was asking me about why global warming is decreasing snowfall amounts. I actually sent her that graph that Starman had sent me. I was like, you tell me and show this to your teacher and tell me what they say. And I got a big LOL, and I never heard back though. She better watch it. She might actually get an F in the class. But here is Starman's also more of his work on our website. And He's put together some really impressive charts here that talk about our cosmic ray situation. He thinks that galactic cosmic rays will go up around 12 to 15 months after the solar minimum is called, which seems to be the trend in the last 4 cycles, and he has pointed that out. So once again, excellent work here done by David Birch, our starman, our very own from the UK. This guy has probably bailed me out through tons of stuff, helping me understand ocean oscillations and the North Atlantic and the El Nino region, on top of teaching me about sunspot counts and snow and just everything. So this guy's work is awesome. Check him out on Twitter as well. And Mari has done us all a solid here, putting our schedule up. Yeah, we are Monday through Friday, but hey, you know, we got to have weekends too, right? Breaking news or special shows we will have from time to time. We'll try to give you guys enough notification for that. But Monday through Friday, look for us around 8:30 in the morning for our morning update. And then Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we do these evening shows like we're doing right now. And also sometimes we do the Patreon call-in show on Friday evening. So again, Lee Wheelbarger is expected to be a guest this week, so the Patreon call might get pushed to maybe Wednesday. We'll see. I don't know, Mario. I guess we'll just have to play it by ear, but we will have the...
I thought we were doing it Saturday night.
Oh, are we? That's fine with me. Saturday night it is. So let's go ahead and do the promotion of the call-in show Saturday night at 8 p.m. That's not 9 p.m. We're going to do it at 8 p.m. on Saturday night and see how that turns out for us as well. Also, Mari has done a wonderful job at our t-shirt and hoodie shop. Please check us out, guys. If you want to support the Grand Solar Minimum, check out these shirts, these hoodies, these stickers. We've got Patreon to join. $1 gets you access to the call-in show. So if you're a $1 member or $15 member, which we graciously appreciate as well, but that will give you access to the call-in show. And we have other ways of visiting us on other websites as well. We're BitChute, we're everywhere. Instagram, Reddit, Twitter, of course, Facebook. We have a closed group, open group, and also, the shameless plug for the PayPal. That link's right there too. But folks, again, we are run by you, the subscribers. All donations and sales goes right back into this channel. And that is why we are trying to expand our audience by doing the call-in show. Last week I thought was really good. We had a lot of participation and a lot of good points about what to do about food storage and having secondary locations. So it's an interesting topic. So we'll just have to see how things go Saturday night. Hopefully the more callers we get, the longer the shows will be as well. I mean, when these can turn into 3-hour shows, if we have the right amount of callers calling in. So something to keep in mind. Let's take a look at our forecast outlook here on the GFS. Now, this morning I showed you guys Sunday's 18Z. I wanted to wait until this one because I thought this was going to be a little bit more accurate. I like what I'm seeing so far because I'm living in the Adirondack area and I was worried that we're going to get a lot of snow and ice with this system. But this looks like it's going to stay north and east of us in our area. Meanwhile, the rest of the New England could see some snow out of this. Maine, especially 5 to 8 inches, not out of the question. But if you live in the capital region of New York, I'd say about 1/10 of an inch of ice like they're calling for. And also, I wouldn't even, ½ inch of snow tops. This is just going to be a light coating here, folks. It's going to be in and out really quick. Down in the southwest, though, we got a major low pressure system that's spreading all kinds of havoc across the Rockies into the northern plains and the Great Lakes. By the time we get to Thursday, November 21st, this storm races off into Canada near Toronto and Quebec, Montreal, and then gets its act together in the tail end of this. Lots of moisture coming in from the Gulf, it looks like. Heavy rain in the south, light rain in the Ohio Valley, and then this stuff starts changing to snow by Saturday, November 23rd. Cold temperatures back in the region in the northeast, not that they're leaving, but colder temperatures, I should say. Pleasant to mild temperatures throughout the rest of the United States. And when I say that, I'm talking 40s, 50s. I'm not saying we're trying to put the shorts back on. The Northwest, by Sunday, we'll start to see a little more action. Alberta and BC already enduring the snow showers that will continue to fall. And then as we get into early next week, again, the same scenario of lots of moisture in the southwest that spreads across the Rockies and across the Midwest again into the Great Lakes. Almost a repeat system here. except the northern part of it doesn't race off. This thing really organizes by late week. This is Thanksgiving, folks. So let's be thankful that temperatures will be above freezing, because this would be an awful snowstorm had it be at 32 or lower. Meanwhile, in the Northwest, all kinds of moisture coming in. Snow in the mountains, rain in the lowlands, and it looks like a pretty good amount of snow also expected for the Sierras. And by the time we get done with Black Friday shopping, that big storm moves to the Northeast. Now, Maine, it's going to be cold enough for snow for you guys, but we take our attention back to the Northwest. More snow across the northern mountains of California Sierras. They're talking 69, 70 inches over the next several days. So lots of snow and more moisture again going across the Colorados into the Midwest and into Canada. So 3 weeks, 3 identical systems. This pattern is taking shape, and these systems are getting bigger and stronger as the time goes by. And by December 3rd, no more 40s and 30s for the majority of us, as we have lots of cold air filtering in from the Arctic. Look at that. That is December 4th. That's still quite a ways away, but we are looking at a pretty good cool off here. The South, you're going to stay in the rain, mild temperatures. I mean, look at that. These are overnight low temperatures, right? Look at this. Overnight lows, and this will be the daytime highs on December 4th. So early morning Wednesday, not much change. So it does look like the GFS is indicating that we are going to see a large region of cold air to invade right on. But again, I mean, winter doesn't officially start until December 21st. So interesting. They say when you get snow in November, it's dry in December. So we'll keep our eyes on that, because up here we haven't had a lot of snow, but we've had a little bit. Actually, I don't even know if we can qualify. Last year we had quite a bit of snow during November. We got several inches on the first wave. This year we only got maybe 2 inches of snow in our first snowfall. Last year it was closer to 7 to 8 inches of snow. And it snowed a couple times like that before December just stayed cold, but didn't really snow that much. And then January, winter was like, I'm back, and gave us quite a bit of snow for the remainder of winter from January through end of March, and even April, still dealing with 40s and 30s with icy conditions all the way until second week of April, before things started to try to cooperate and warm up for spring. By the time we got to May, we had about 2 weeks of spring, and then summer was here. So, that's the weather for you though, right? And let's take a look at Australia. You guys deserve to take a look at, here we are, the next several days of weather down here, down under. Let me scroll that up a little bit. Also learned an interesting fact today, that there is an island on the northwestern side of Australia. In fact, let me get my handy dandy arrow out and show you guys what I'm talking about. There was a report on weather.com. This island up here, where'd it go? Oh, it's gone. Nope, there it is, right there. So, interesting footage where the tip of my arrow is. There is a thunderstorm that happens every day over this island at 3 p.m. or a little after. Every day. And sure enough, there sure is thunder showers and storms that develop over this tiny island every day, 24 hours apart, just about. Now, scientists say that this island up here is just the size of it, the location of it, the way it's shaped, and all the weather that's going on up here is just ripe conditions for this reoccurring storm to happen. Now, this storm happens between the period of now and I think they said somewhere around January or February. So it's not a constant thing that's year round, but there is a period of time where this storm appears, and they've actually named it Hector. So, fun fact. Mari, would you like to say hello before we head out of GrandSolarMinimum land?
GrandSolarMinimum land is fantastic, Jake.
Good to hear.
You know how much I love the people in our chat. I don't even know where to start. There's so much. There's a lot of conversation going on in the chat today. So first, I'm going to start out by thanking Prime Mover for your super chat. They put, I'm debating global warming enthusiasts, but can't answer this question. Searching, I'm guessing he's saying Google, but how potent is CO2 compared to other greenhouse gases? Anyone know? Can cite a source is appreciated. So I told him I'd post some links of what I can find in the comments below after the show. It's hard to juggle questions in the chat going at all times. So I'll post all kinds of CO2 links.
Well, and let me add something to that too. When you are talking about CO2 and the plant life that we have right now, with the amount of nitrogen that's in the atmosphere and in the bedrock, trees and plants all over the world are loving it right now. They are soaking in as much CO2 as they possibly can because of those combinations right there. So when you say potent, I don't know if that's the right word. It is definitely effective in the greening effect. But many people have cited that man only contributes 0.004% of CO2. So just wanted to add that.
Very nice. Let's see. Mari hates me, Thor. I don't hate you, Thor. I was just busy, and you know what? He sent me a few emails, and I haven't had a chance to go through them all.
It's been crazy, Thor.
I haven't even been online in days, really. If you look at my Twitter, I don't think I've posted since the 15th. I am extremely behind with social media. So tomorrow, I'm going to devote to playing catch up. I promise.
As long as I get to be playing mustard. Okay.
Cut
sorry.
The mustard.
Cut the cheese.
Speaking of that, Matthew Ronson says he farts, but it's spelled like heart with an F, Cheryl. So
this
I don't
show
know exactly.
Got really weird all of a sudden.
We got some silly buggers in the chat. Knife collector. Oh wait, I skipped one. Dead Dog says, Jake, with pole shifting, do you think global magnetic link during solar minimum will increase the speed of the pole shift? And I honestly, I'll butt in here, this whole magnetic pole shift stuff, there's more speculation than fact. So please be objective with correlating and putting that information together. And that's why we don't really cover it, because it is more speculation than fact, and we really want to stick to the facts here.
It deserves
this channel.
It deserves its own channel. It's totally different. It's I haven't seen anything solid that connects these pole reversals with grand solar minimums. I happen to feel like this magnetic pole reversal is happening while a grand solar minimum is happening, because these things are very slow right now. Of course, we do see the North Pole meandering.
The time frame's all speculation.
It is, and nobody knows. That's the problem. Nobody really knows, because the last time it happened, nobody was alive.
Yeah, and
so, just like
from my understanding, it takes a lot longer than what a lot of people on YouTube are saying.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I got to pass on that.
Just pump the brakes. That's all I got to say.
Sorry about that. So, I know other people, and you know what? We're diplomatic and we can agree to disagree. I'm not going to hate on anyone who goes with that theory whatsoever. So,
but no, let's make it clear though, folks. Honestly, the grand solar minimum is the topic here, and there's enough to learn right now with just grand solar minimum related. So. Do forgive us if we don't kind of expand the horizons on stuff like that. Well, we have a lot
to cover. We're not only covering
There's
space weather, then you have regular weather. We're going ocean oscillations, crop loss, some prepping stuff. There's so many
and plagues.
Branches.
We're watching health stuff too. I mean, there's so many things to cover with this topic.
So it's just one that we choose not to bother with, because it is more speculation than fact. I know that's going to really wind some people up. Sorry, that's my opinion though. So, Knife Collector says, you got to know what to grow in the garden. Don't plant seeds of the same species together, as they will cross-pollinate and it won't be good. So that's just some gardening tips. And they also said, They like closed groups because they don't want their friends know that they prep, which I think is sort of smart. You don't want anyone to know that you're loaded with goody food.
Well, that or you get looked at like you're crazy.
Yeah, well, that too. It's a catch-22. So I mentioned, since they like closed groups, and I'm catching up on social media tomorrow, there are people using GSM Social and using our forums. I'm excited to see people using it, and I'm going to be responding to everyone tomorrow. If you don't have a GSM Social login, do it. TheGrandSolarMinimum.com.
Yep.
I'm just going to...
And also, I want to make a quick comment, too, because I seem to be getting a lot of these as well. If you're a member of the closed group at the Facebook, that closed group on Facebook was designed to share links and articles about climate, Grand Solar Minimum, the science behind it. We're getting a lot of YouTube videos, and I appreciate you guys trying to get our attentions on certain channels and bring certain topics to the table, but I please ask you, I beg you, we will not approve any more YouTube videos to be posted in that group. That is actually posted in the rules. But not just that, our channel, that closed group, actually got in trouble for a user who shared a video, which really I had no objections to sharing. That's why I shared it. But because of how things are right now with Google and YouTube, our closed group received a violation. So it's nothing personal against any of the YouTube channels that you're bringing to us. It's just that right now there's so many things in the algorithms that's catching things that won't get flagged, in my opinion, if you just stick to the papers and stick to articles that talk about the science. So we'd appreciate that. And again, please don't take it personal. Share away in the Facebook group, but the closed group, unfortunately, we can't risk losing. And Mara, you've done a good job. You've grown that particular Facebook page pretty big. So
it's it's a shame that it's just so censored, and it's like we're walking on eggshells, like tiptoeing through things.
Doing the best we can.
Honestly, we're really concerned about the fate of this channel and what's going to happen. The problem is you have these big powerhouses in social media. They got loads of money. They can pay all these developers to make the platform as brilliant as possible, and everyone wants to use it. They're the go-to. So you got Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. YouTube is our primary platform, and they are making changes December 10th that make it even easier to shut down our channels. And it's a concern. Basically, if you're not, what was the verbiage they used?
If you're not deemed a valuable commercial,
like basically, if you're not looked at to be marketable, you're facing the possibility of your channel being closed. Now, we are on BitChute and other platforms like that, but honestly, there is no traffic. So we must build our platform, our main platform, to be our website, and then sort of build up Facebook, Twitter, and just hope they hang on as much as possible.
Well, and I think we can make something happen with the Patreon channel too. So I would ask that if you guys wanted to subscribe, Mari mentioned BitChute, I would also ask that you guys go to our Patreon as well. I think that would be the easiest.
We're on Patreon. We have a SUBSCIBESTAR account, but we don't have any subscribers, so I don't know.
Some of these platforms are just too new.
Easier. It's hard. I'm just trying to spread our platforms out so we have an audience on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Lines. It's so hard to juggle. So if I don't respond right away to your comments, it's because I am juggling probably 20 different social media platforms to try to spread us out, because I am so concerned of being shut down. Our rights are being taken away, and freedom of speech is almost a thing of the past. You have these big corporations dictating the narrative and sculpting history. I mean, when I say sculpting history, I mean they're actually controlling the data that we have access to. I was talking to Teo from The Watchers about an article he had on cosmic rays that was probably published in 2014. And probably one of the he probably had links to 10 different papers about cosmic rays and the links between earthquakes and other things. And most of those papers aren't even available anymore. They're offline. So it's like, where did they go? Can we track them down? It's like the information in the electronic age, unless you're actually seeing something like an article you like and appreciate, you're downloading it yourself and perhaps printing it out. Don't expect anything online to be there the next day, because we are being censored and we live in Orwellian times. And I like to say hi to Lee Wheelbarger. Lee.
Lee's always showing up at the end, Lee. Come on, Lee, get with it.
He's a busy man.
You get your schedules right now, damn it. I'm just kidding.
Lee will be on
I had to bust your balls
to scare the hell out of Cheryl on Friday.
Yes, Friday we'll be talking with Lee. Schedule permitting, he is pretty damn busy. So if he's available this Friday, we'll have him on. If not, we'll probably have him on when he is available, because he's been all over. He's like Johnny Cash. He's been everywhere, man. So...
Well, anyway, Matt Bros came in a little late, but I think he was in the chat this morning, so I might let him off.
Well, he's farming too, so.
And we got Tammy and a bunch of other people. Ab Team, Jesse, Matthew Ronson, Richard Davison, Cheryl. Doug Ellens wants a GSM bikini. I don't know why. Only if you send me a picture, I'll design one.
All right.
Anyway, he said he ordered his GSM mug yesterday, Mari. Where is it? LOL. JK.
I'm still making it in the clay oven.
It's in the kiln.
It's in the kiln. Jesus. All right. Well, thank you, Mari, for the report there. I appreciate you spending the time with the folks in the chat, keeping them entertained, just in case if I'm boring them.
Oh, wait. Lee says he has to do some kind of bunker work on Friday, so we'll have to reschedule that.
That's fine. So we will probably talk to Lee the following Friday. Well, in that case, then we can move the call-in show. Ooh.
I don't know what that was, but we'll worry about it later.
We'll do the call-in show still on Saturday, actually, now that I think about it. So, but yeah, Lee.
Jesse said he wanted the call-in show to be Saturday, so we'll do that.
We'll get our people to get in touch with your people, Lee, and we'll have you on. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us tonight. Thank you for tuning in to the Grand Solar Minimum channel. We will be back tomorrow morning with a morning update, and then live again on Wednesday night. We'll discuss a crop update as well. I'll probably show you a couple videos that I've been, guys, Millennial Farmer, check him out. He is probably one of the best informational channels about farming you'll ever find. Well, maybe. I haven't seen them all yet, but he's pretty good. So check him out. We'll be talking about the crops on Wednesday night. But until tomorrow morning, folks, please stay safe out there if you're in the Northeast. And we will talk soon. Take care.
Do you like this show? Give us a thumbs up. Want to support us more? Share to your favorite social media platform. Buy a t-shirt or become a Patreon. All links are in the description below.